Burwell. I'm the president and CEO of BAFT. I've been in the industry for over 3 decades as a banker, and I've been running the association since 2011.
What's the key message you hope attendees take away from this year's meeting?
So the theme of the conference is innovate, collaborate, elevate. And I think embedded in that are a few themes. Certainly innovation has been taking place for several years, but it's more than just innovation from a technology context. In the midst of a lot of disruption that's taking place right now from a business point of view, an economic point of view, a policy point of view, organizations really have to get creative about how they can help their clients pivot on a dime to react to some of these policy changes and economic changes. So that, I think, is the theme around innovate and innovation. And then the collaboration part of it is really what we do at BAFT is we bring the community together to collaborate. So it allows for organizations to stay focused on solving their client issues and their client questions, and where they may not have certain expertise or certain capabilities, collaborate with those that do. And this is where those relationships are formed and built.
BAFT is now in the process of a formal separation from the American Bankers Association. How will this transition shape BAFT's direction, and what can we expect next?
So BAFT was founded in 1921 by 10 Midwestern U.S. banks who wanted to get together to figure out how to do trade better. We have advanced since then, and now we're at a place where 70% of the BAFT membership are headquartered outside of the United States. The American Bankers Association is the largest U.S. chartered banking association in the country. However, and what we did not know when we started down this path 2 years ago, is that we would be at a place today where the world would become a bit more fragmented. And so one of the advantages we see of becoming independent is that as our global membership continues to grow globally, we can be an independent, somewhat geopolitically neutral voice and advocate for them. And we can do that in a way that doesn't compromise the ABA's core mission, which is to serve U.S. chartered institutions. So it's really going to be doing the same things we've been doing, which is providing thought leadership and best practices, conducting advocacy education, bringing the community together. But we will be able to do that with integrity in local markets around the world and in a geopolitically neutral sense of the word.
What other new projects is BAFT working on for the next 12 months?
There's an ever-evolving list of priorities, but certainly uneven payment regulations has been one of the consistent areas of focus, and that's really looking at the friction that is created by uneven regulation from jurisdiction to jurisdiction, as well as between banks and non-banks. So the more that the world is trying to connect disparate systems, disparate faster payment networks to each other, we've got to smooth out some of those regulatory and policy frictions. So that's one. The theme of right-sizing capital regulations for trade is actually one that was a theme when I joined BAFT in 2011. But it's really kind of come to a head as many jurisdictions are now in the process of implementing the Basel III framework. We talked a bit about technology, the role that artificial intelligence has played. More and more jurisdictions are now looking at how they want to establish policies and regulations around the use of artificial intelligence. So from our community's perspective, we want to not only look at the best practices for how the technology can help institutions reimagine their business, but also look at it in the context of policies that are being developed in different jurisdictions and make sure that they're in sync. So those are some of the main ones. There are some continuing themes such as trade-based money laundering, such as the implementation of ISO 20022 and other core transaction banking issues.
What are BAFT members saying about the current geopolitical tensions and tariffs?
Yeah, so the most consistent word that I hear is uncertainty. And the dirty little secret about our industry is that when our members' clients feel uncertain, it's actually the perfect opportunity for our bank members to get closer to their clients. So in a way, this turbulence in the market is helpful in getting them in a position to be able to serve their clients' interests more. Because whenever there's disruption, whenever there's friction, whenever there's additional risk created by uncertainty, the banks are very well placed to help mitigate that. So now the take on the tariffs really depends on what market you sit in, what your client mix looks like. Are you very heavy in the energy sector? Are you more heavy in the manufacturing sector or agricultural sector, and so forth? We have been hearing that in some jurisdictions, Asia in particular, there may be an increased demand for loans and guarantees, again, directly related to the uncertainty that comes from tariffs. In some of the markets here in the U.S., the ag sector being one where there may be countermeasures that are levied by other jurisdictions, there really are questions around, what's the sustained credit quality of those clients over time if they're not able to sell their products into markets because of tariff conflicts. So it really does depend on who you're talking to, where they sit, but broadly speaking, it allows the banks to get much closer to their clients in helping them solve that problem.
What's one message you want to give out to BAFT members and clients?
Well, this is the place to collaborate with your clients, with your competitors, and when you've got market disruptions like what's taking place now, when you're looking for solutions where you can leverage others' expertise or even market presence, this is why we exist. And so we would say, if you're already a member of BAFT, engage as actively as you can. If you're not a member of BAFT, consider connecting with BAFT to see if you can be part of some of the work streams and the dialogues that we're having.